episode is brought to you by GameFound. Create a free pledge manager for your project.
Good afternoon. I'm Tom Vassell.
I'm Z Garcia, everybody. What's happening? Hi.
I'm Mike Delisio. Greetings and salutations.
I'm here too.
Hey!
Welcome to Crowdsurfing, a show where we talk about games on Kickstarter and soon also games on GameFound and other crowdsurfing sites. But today it's all Kickstarter. We usually talk about games that are ending in the next week or so. Could be stretched to 8 days or not. And just in other words, Core Quest we'll talk about next week. But, we just pick games that look interesting. Oh, I pick games that look interesting. Not always.
Do they really? Do they look interesting, Tom? Is that your criteria? Are we putting that out there in the front?
No, I find a point of interest. I'm not saying it's a good point or a bad point, but it gives us a talking point.
It's interesting how bad these games... No. Okay, I got what you're saying. Yes.
I'm going to ask you about your talking point for every one of these today, Tom.
Be prepared.
And folks, thank you. If you find it unusual or weird or interesting Kickstarter, send them in. We certainly have a few of those to talk about too at the end. So let's get started here with Bunny Party at Maple Valley. We're having a bunny party. Now this looks like a cute kids style game. I actually really like the look of this one.
Super cute. It's cute overload. I need insulin just looking at this.
Yes, very sweet.
Yeah, but I wonder, maybe it's just not doing so well because kids games in general don't sell a ton. Like, I don't know that Kickstarter is always the best place for kids games. You know, there's also no miniatures involved or anything, I guess. But
also, this is getting to be an increasingly crowded space, right? The kind of relatively short, it looks like, simple, cutesy games. More and more of these are showing up. I think it's more difficult to stand out in this space.
I don't know. By that same logic, more and more giant miniature-laden games are showing up, and they fund and make millions of dollars. So I think it's just what people are willing to throw a bunch of money at. Plastic, yes. Cute bunnies, get out of my face. That's the general consensus. Okay, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying more bunnies.
Yeah, but I think actually Kickstarter is not the best place to go shopping for presents for your kids.
Agreed.
You don't know when you're going to
anybody,
get it.
Tom, okay? Presents for anybody. It's not a good idea.
Well, it's a good idea if you're new to the whole Kickstarter genre and you assume things will be delivered on time.
I would say that Kickstarter gives come with a lot of baggage, Tom.
Yeah, okay. That's true. Anyhow, but you know, with all seriousness, you could buy a kid's game for a game for your kid, and by the time it comes out, they're a teenager. You know, that's. But what are you supposed to tell them? There's a gift coming.
Yes.
For your 18th birthday, I'd like to give you this copy of Bunny Party at Maple Valley.
Well, you know what it is for me? My main like if I was just looking at this, and I am just looking at this as a consumer, right? My main issue would be it's a game that says it's for 3 to 4 players only, so it's a very small margin of players, and the main twist in the game is that 2 players win.
Right.
That's what they're talking about. Like, work with somebody else. 2 players win. It's like, okay, so you're telling me if I play a 3-player game, it's not so much about who wins, but 1 player loses. That's really what is emphasized.
Yeah. Sure, but if it's dad playing against 2 kids, dad can lose. Everybody's happy.
Dad needs to get good, Tom.
Get good.
Dad is not good. All right. Anyway, I think it looks good. All right, next. It does look cute. Alley Hoopster, the 6-shot trick shot kit.
Oh, snap. What's up, everybody? It's your boy coming at you.
This is definitely it tells you you're a trick shot superstar. And this is definitely going off of that. Like, hey. That's true.
This was cool. Watching them just do all the trick shots is insanely impressive. It must take a lot of trial and error. But this is not a board game. I'm not sure why this is so close to the front here. This should be this is like a weird thing near the back. But
Well, no, it's actually in the game category, Z.
well, everybody's wrong every now and then. This looks like there is no hidden meaning or like what you see is what you get. With this one, it's a bunch of boards, a little launcher, and some ping pong looking ball. I mean, that's it. That's what you get. You want to do some trick shots, mess around. This is what this is. Right. I like that simplicity and that sort of front-facing nature of the project here.
Is there a camera on a ping pong ball?
Clearly not,
GoPro
Tom. They just did a zoom. Zoom.
It's the world's tiniest GoPro, Z. Let me believe it. All right.
Fine.
Let's start now.
And it's got a gyroscope so that the ball, even though it's spinning, the camera stays up.
Yeah, it's true. All right. Metro Deluxe Big Box City Edition. At this point, I think we can all be comfortable in saying Queen is going to make a deluxe big box of every game they've ever made.
That's right.
And every game that everyone else made, too.
That's
Queen is making everything a big box game.
I mean, it's kind of weird because in one hand, this looks really cool, right? But
yeah,
Metro Big Box. I like
the look of this cover. I'll tell you, I think the cover looks very good.
Yeah, the cover's great.
And the whole acrylic tiles thing is kind of crazy. I don't know if I would like acrylic tiles.
Oh, acrylic tiles are amazing.
They used it for
board,
Copenhagen.
like for the main board.
I don't know,
like
anything.
I don't think I would like. What you say?
Anything acrylic is good.
Anything acrylic is good. All right, I'll be sure to remember that for your birthday.
Well,
I
we
might
just
get
played
the city edition here, and not the. Oh, it doesn't come with acrylic though.
That's what I'm saying. We just played a game that had kind of roots on it, tiles that were not quite acrylic, but almost like this. And it worked really well, that Maglev Metro game. I can see this kind of having that same feel where you can kind of see things. It worked really well for that. So I can see it worked for this.
Yeah,
If ever there was you need to buy the Deluxe Big Box Edition, I love this. They show it, and there's just a red X here.
Yeah, nothing.
You're not getting this.
Yeah, they're clearly.
Usually,
they're offering you the low end one, but it's like you don't want this garbage.
Real version, cheapskate version. Right.
Look
at all those X's.
XXX. But usually they show you the base game, and then they show you what extra stuff you get. But here they're clearly saying you don't want to get that one. I like the artwork.
Please don't make us produce any of these. Just get the big one.
I like the artwork. I like everything about this, except for just Metro's not a big box game. It really isn't.
That was going to be my question. Is this a game that people were clamoring for a big deluxe edition of? I don't know. I mean, I know.
Apparently 532.
Yeah. I mean, it's making over $100,000, right?
But look, only 12 people are backing the city version. 532. And here's another 8 backing the one that's not even early bird, which is weird.
They must have dropped out.
I really like that Alhambra Mega Box, and this is another way you can get it, so that's good. It's they offer it here, but I don't know about Metro. Actually, I'm not sure if I've ever played Metro, but I like that they offer these because through Kickstarter, if it catches your eye, you can back it and have it, and if not, you can just ignore it. You know what I mean? And then they can they don't have to print something and gamble at what the market might want in a big box version. I think this is good. They've been doing this for a while. You're right. They're kind of turning every game into a big box game. I'm happy with that model because every now and then, you know what, they do one I'm really excited about.
Yeah, okay, but fine. But I'm saying they could have made this a nice version in the normal box.
With acrylic tiles, you're crazy. It has to say big box if you want acrylic tiles.
You know what I say to that, Tom? Red X. Nothing.
All right. The Belgian Beers Race US Edition. So we got good news and bad news. The good news is it's a cool looking game. Bad news is completely gone. It's one of those
100 of them.
100 copies. However, there will be retail units that are coming out later. So Mike asked me why even bother putting this on the thing, and that's partially because it's from Grand Gamers Guild, and their stuff's good. Z, you like a couple of their games.
I do. I tend to like that. Yeah, I think I like all the ones I've played from them. I like. they have a really good eye for production. You know, and I always enjoy when a company, you can tell, has people working there who know how to put together a production and go through the stages and come up with a product that you look at and you go, man, a lot of thought went into this. This is solid. This one, I looked at the video and I kind of looked around it and then only then realized, wait, this is from Grand Gamers Guild. This doesn't feel like one of their games. It's this sort of indie project, roll and move-ish kind of game. It seems like a very personal project to someone. Hey, you know, I and my friends like this theme. We're going to make this game. So I was very confused by that. I'm not sure if I would like this game, but yes, I like the company.
Yeah, I think they addressed that a little bit. There is a story behind this game. I think they addressed it a little bit at the top of the page that kind of explains how this game came to be. I think this is like a redo. I think they're making like a deluxe version of it or something like that.
Okay.
I could be wrong, but I thought there was some kind of a story at the beginning.
Alrighty. The sister of Threepia is Threepia. Or is this the Spanish version? I don't know. I thought that's a weird name, Threepia.
It very much is, yes.
So
it's the puzzle tabletop card game that you can play in many ways.
Many ways. Many ways.
I will say that the color of those cards I don't dislike. I feel at least that they are a pretty cool color. And then I'm out. But for that one moment, I was like, oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, it looked like it could have been maybe like an Ingenious or even maybe like a Quirkle type of a thing, but really doesn't look like they're quite going in that direction.
Nah, this looks really bad, frankly.
Yeah.
But I like how the cards look.
This is tic-tac-toe-ish, basically, right? I mean,
right.
It's just a stacking card game. You know, you cover symbols with colors or colors with symbols. You know, I feel like I've seen this game 12 times. Or some people might even say a dozen times.
Some might.
It really
doesn't look like there's a whole lot there.
Jumping over to Runelords. Now, Runelords, it's possible it won't fund. It didn't fund the first time. I know about this game because we played this live on the channel a little over a year ago. And yet, despite having done that, if you ask me how to play it, I don't know if I would remember, because I know you had a hero and you had monsters and you ran around and you fought on the board and you rolled dice, but it was a fairly confusing game. We had the designer or publisher there with us, and they walked us through it, which that's always easier to play that way, right? It let you do cool things. I got to ride like a rhinoceros in it and go hit Z and stuff. We had a big fight, but it did feel at the time extremely complex. And then he was like, oh, also, by the way, you played the basic game.
Right.
And
like he skipped all the setup. There's like a whole deck building thing that's a game within a game, basically. You guys didn't even go near that.
Right, so and maybe they've changed it in the year, you know, because they put a year in between putting it out. And maybe it's less complex. It does not look less complex. It sure shows a lot of stuff still.
I'm very picky when it comes to fantasy themes, and complexity is not where I am forgiving when it comes to a fantasy theme. Like, for example, right now I've got a game I'm going to be talking about very soon called Aventuria. The Aventuria, it's a fantasy card game. And the way into that one is nostalgia. That works for me. Okay, a game that feels like it's like brings up all these warm feelings from the 80s and 90s, and it's that kind of fantasy, that works for me specifically, okay? And it's simple. When it's like modern, grimdark, and then a ton of complexity, that's barriers for me, not open doors. So
yeah, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Like I said, I don't know if it's going to fund. It might fund. And if it does, maybe, you know, well, I'll check out the final thing when it comes out and I'll see. But
yeah,
it is a little worrisome. I forgot so much about the game in a year.
It does seem to be a lot of product, and the price seems to be pretty reasonable. So I want to say like the base game, it's like $49, and it sure looks like you're getting a lot. So
Yeah, that's true. True. Alrighty, the board game survival kit.
here we go.
Let's go.
I've been waiting on
You're
this.
gonna get 5 meeples. You're gonna get a life straw. You're gonna get a flashlight.
Always play as the color you want to be. No matter what, you can play with your color. The thing I can't tell is, what if someone else is playing with that color? Are you just like, tough, I'm also red?
That would be great.
Mhm.
I'm the non-matching red meeples.
I'm the slightly different color red. Yes. Yeah. No, this would.
It's a funny concept, but this feels like a joke turned into a game, doesn't it?
It's a solution
into a
for
product.
a problem.
You mean not a game? This isn't a game, but
No.
Also, what about these mini dice here? I've seen like so look at these dice. The black dice there, that's the normal sided die.
That's a standard. Yeah.
Right. That means those other dice are teeny weeny. You are not gonna be able to read that 20-sided die very well at all.
I'm telling
In
you,
fact,
somehow.
you can see in the picture there, the inking isn't very good.
Somehow, and I can't tell you for sure how it's going to happen, but that mini D4 is going to end up inside of your body somehow. I don't know how. There's a lot of different possibilities.
oh, what is wrong with you?
Going to happen. It's going to happen. Is all I'm saying.
I'm gonna sprinkle 200 of them all over the floor here.
Yeah, well,
Home Alone.
you know what,
style.
Mike? I play yellow. I could have said something
but then,
else, but
okay,
I don't want to be
doesn't
disgusted.
Doesn't this defeat the purpose though? Like here it shows Patricia plays Annie. So I'm like, I'm playing whatever color I want. Like, yeah,
Basically,
but
you just bring if that's yours, you just bring the empty tin. And you're like, and then whenever like black and purple are left, you're like, yeah, I'll take any. This was just a tin. I'll take those.
it's a cute idea.
It's a cute idea, right? But it's
They should have these. Go ahead. Sorry.
There are so many games with so many custom player pieces that this, as time goes by and we get more and more games, the usability of generic pieces continues to diminish, right?
Yeah.
So
they should have these at the game store with all the names on them, right? Like, Tom plays purple, Mike plays blue, and so that people can go there and get annoyed when their name isn't on the thing there.
That's true. You look it through.
Better. You know what, Mike? That's a much better idea. I don't know if I would make it a like a game kit like this. But a the whole license plate named thing for gamers, there's a kernel of a good idea in there somewhere.
All right, Colonel.
Yeah, I like that.
Let's take a pause here.
Colonel.
Let's listen to our contributors, Mark and Robert, and we'll be right back.
Hey folks, welcome back to Dice Tower Preview Recap. I'm Mark, and today we're going to be defending our towers against the incoming horde. And we're going to be searching the forest for some lost children. All right, let's jump in and check out these games. So first up, we have Kingdom Rush Elemental Uprising. Now, if you know Kingdom Rush, this is a tower defense game for the tabletop. But this is a new standalone version with new characters, new abilities, all kinds of new towers and things they can do. And what's neat about this tabletop experience is the fact that you use polyominoes to engage with the enemy and basically becomes a puzzle and how you take them out. Lots of new enemies, lots to like about this new version of the game. And then we have Forest of Radgos. Now, this is a hugely story-driven game. You are rolling dice to move around a map, but you're working together as the villagers to try to save the kids and find them in this dense forest full of all kinds of creatures. Now, it is a bit of a choose your own adventure because as you engage with the encounters or the different monsters in the forest, you have to pick abilities or actions before you know what it is, which then you go to the Book of Encounters and go through the story elements. Lots of neat storytelling in this game. And so, my pick of the week, definitely going with Kingdom Rush Elemental Uprising. Now, Forest Radgos has storytelling in spades, and I love that in games, but just the fun factor alone for Kingdom Rush is super high. how you deal with enemies and how you distribute the damage as a puzzly type game is pretty neat. Now, they also just totally nailed that tower defense game in the tabletop form. Really well done, and all the new characters and enemies are something to see. All right, folks, if you want any more information about any of the games that we mentioned here, please go check out our full previews. And if you want your game featured as a Dice Tower preview, please shoot me an email. All right, folks, until next time, we'll see you at the table.
Hey folks, and welcome to FOMO, the segment where... Hello, this is Robert from FOMO Wishes with Posthuman Saga, The Journey Home. That's right, an expansion for a game I'd never played before, but then I was given a prototype of the expansion, and wow, now I wish I had. So I did. Then I played with the expansion. Apparently everyone else had been playing the game, had been deep in the heart of this mutant world without me, and now they're all headed home. To make this expansion, they added in some new characters, some new stories, and some new mechanics to the base game. I did search the box for Nutmeg, but sadly, they don't seem to have included any of that. In the Journey Home, the standard mission cards from the core game are replaced with the new Explorer cards, which I like to call Recipes for VPs. Being the first to complete one of these then unlocks a new story and adventure to embark upon if you want, that is. You are, after all, the Lady Gaga of your Posthuman Saga. New Cartographer cards change the setup of your player each game and also add start and obstacle tiles. And if that wasn't enough, it seems they also sprinkled in some additional ways to score with personal objectives. There's also new characters, a cult leader, and a tracker. If you're already invested in this thematic Euro game experience, then this has to be a FOMO wish for you. And if not, then this is a great chance to go ahead and get everything all at once. This really is a great example of how a Euro-style game can still be narrative-driven and contain a lot of thematic ingredients. I really enjoyed how the game built upon the previous core game and Resistance expansion storyline while changing things up with new mechanisms. And if that interests you, go ahead and check out their Kickstarter, which I hope you will. And as always, enjoy. That was weird. I feel like Chef John. I had a weird dream. Anyway, this is FOMO, the segment where I take a look at a game, seeking crowdfunding right now. Maybe I've got a fear of missing out on it. Maybe you do too, and we take a look together. Now today, I'm going to be taking a look at a game from one of the hottest young designers in quite a while, Cora Hughes. Now I hear she had some help from some other guy. We don't care about that. So we're going to be taking a look at Cora Quest. Now, Mike DeLisio was nice enough to send over his copy in this very nondescript box, and when I opened it up, I found what can be only described as a tree. So we won't need that. Sorry, we'll pick that up later. So Cora Quest, what this is going to be a dungeon crawler for the whole family. This was designed by a kid and feels like a dungeon crawler for kids, but one that adults can play with them or without them. I played without kids, and I had a blast playing it, honestly. So this is a standard dungeon crawler. We're going to be taking these heroes on a quest into a dungeon. The first quest is called Fangs for the Memory. It was fantastic. You're going to be exploring new dungeon tiles. You're going to be encountering new enemies and goblins and things like that. And you're going to be rolling dice to defeat them. And you're going to be unlocking chests. And you're all while going to be unlocking story moments as well. And I just really dug this. This feels like a great introductory dungeon crawler for the whole family, or to get your kids excited about playing board games. Another cool feature I really enjoyed was the creator, where I can create a character with my own face in it and my own stats, or for the kids. For me, and I just really dug this. The art is cute, it's tongue-in-cheek, and it's just something worth backing if you have kids who you want to introduce to Dungeon Crawler. So go ahead and check out Cora Quest. I can't recommend this one enough, despite Dan. And I will see you folks next episode. Yeah, so Dan, the check didn't clear. Can you just PayPal me? Otherwise, I'm going to have to pull the segment and tell Cora I'm sorry.
Colonel.
Alrighty, well, thank you. Daniel said he has a 2021 goal to do a super chat on every live Dice Tower stream he stumbles across. And he says we're legends, but that seems like a loose definition of that word.
That's just Mike DeLisio.
That's true.
I didn't want to be the one to say it. I'm glad you did, though.
All right, let's...
You know how legends come around, don't you? They were a long time ago. You walked right into that one, Mike.
All right, our next Kickstarter is one that we're playing live on Friday. But we have not yet played it. all we did yesterday was open a box and look at it briefly, so we don't know a whole lot about it. So that's the angle we're coming from. This is from Colossal Games Reload, and it's being described as Fortnite, the board game, sort of.
That's what it looks like to me.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it, obviously, so I don't. I haven't seen what you guys saw, but that's very much the vibe I got. Right, Battle Royale. You parachute in. They mentioned that you parachute in on the video. They mentioned that this poisonous or noxious gas is pushing you in. I mean, like it hits all those things from the video game. So this is kind of a love letter to the people to people who like that kind of game, or specifically, that game.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot. I'm surprised it's not doing well, but I think part of that's Colossal Games. They've had some clunkers along the way, I think, but it sounds fun. I like the idea of a first-person shooter. I'm sorry, whatever the genre is called. Don't at me.
Hey, Tom.
Yes.
What are you doing, man? First-person shooter?
Whatever these are called, it's all the same to me. Am I taking the hole deeper?
No, the game is called Reload, Tom. It's not. You're not going too far overboard by saying it's called Reload.
A shooting up arena style game, whatever they're called. If you can bring that to board gaming, I'm cool. But usually they're long and drawn out. If this one's fast and fun, I think that's cool.
I will say I like the aesthetic of it a whole lot. I like it's very stylized, and it seems like it's a fully formed world, if that makes sense. I really like the graphic design.
Yes.
I feel it looks like the price is very reasonable for what's on offer. So I'm intrigued. I'm very much looking forward to giving it a shot on Friday, and I'm hopeful.
I'm looking forward to giving a shot to Mike.
Oh my!
Nope.
I agree, Mike. I'm not a fan of this genre of video games. I believe they're called like racing, role playing, or something, whatever. But
shut up, dude.
Don't add me, Tom. Okay, don't add me. But I agree that the graphic design on these cards, like those frames, the look of the little weapons and the items and stuff. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this looks well put together, man. I would try this out for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Next, it's our playing cards of the week. Majestic Imperial luxury playing cards. We'll listen to Z give his approval or displeasure.
Displeasure. Next.
Wow, really?
Yeah, these have a lot of issues. I haven't seen cards that have big issues like these in a while. The main culprits here being the court cards. That's a really big problem on those. They only have an index in one corner. That's insane.
Oh, I see. You're right. The ace cards don't, but the king and queen do. That is weird. What?
Mm-hmm.
I guess
that is really bad. That means if I get a hand of cards, which have been shuffled, they've moved around their orientation because the backs of the cards are one way. They're two-way back. So you can turn over the card, and from the back, you cannot tell that it's upside down. I really like those backs, by the way. I think those are good. Mm-hmm. But that means if I get a hand of cards, and I have to turn one over, you know it's a court card.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I wouldn't watch. I wouldn't look for that sort of thing.
I'm taking every advantage I can, baby. I'm watching like a hawk.
That's called a tell. I'm all in.
That's when I push up the shades and I
will say this.
Hit me.
I'm not a card person, so I defer to you on all of this, Z, but I do like the art on the is it the Jack that way you went past it. The Plague Doctor kind of thing.
Oh,
the Plague Doctor thing. Yeah, it's cool. It's a cool illustration for sure.
But it's not functional. Yeah.
I like cards that are where the front is it's a mirror image called a two-way design, so you can flip it over,
Right.
So you can see it. These being like a portrait on the card means if it's in your hand upside down, it just doesn't look right. And then many games do this. That's fine. Yeah, I don't like it, but many games do it. But to not put the pip, right, the index, which is the corner information on both opposing corners, is insane to me. I haven't seen a deck do this possibly ever. One that I've seen on Kickstarter. It's a terrible idea.
Wow.
All right. All right, next we have Embryo Machine, a mecha war game with a really colorful cover. This is
I love that name.
It doesn't. It sounds like something different, right?
Embryo Machine? Yes, it sounds like something different, Tom.
It's a mecha combat game for 1 to 6 players, 15 minutes per player, so it sounds like a pretty fast game, actually. Play a 4-player game in an hour. There's a lot of text here on the page about customizing your experience. I don't like the battle boards. They look really generic.
There you go.
But the unit boards look cool. And this is one of those times where I have a hard time telling the difference between the different mechas. Like, if you showed this to me and said, Tom, what is this? I'd be like, is it Robotech, maybe? I'm not 100% sure.
Those unit boards to me look like information overload. We were just talking about reload and how
they look good.
No, they look like garbage.
We were just talking about all of these abbreviations here are something else, like AR and BG. I just think board game. LG, that's my television set.
Am I looking at the periodic table or mechs? What is this? Is this the periodic table?
Oh, my word.
Don't try to slip in learning when I'm trying to blow your mech up.
Have you all played BattleTech? This is way, way smoother compared to the BattleTech sheets.
Is that one of those first-person shooters?
You know what?
You got.
I will argue here about these cards. Maybe if you have a lot of text on one card and you need to make the font smaller for that particular card, you don't need to do that for all the cards.
I just did an unboxing today where I complained about this. You've got all of this white space and 0.3 font on there. I don't like it. It's Anyway,
I actually disagree with that philosophy, Tom.
Really?
From a design point of view, I don't like cards where the text box fluctuates the size of the words. I don't think it looks good. But I do think then
font.
What's that?
I hate that tiny font.
Well, that just means then that if you have an outlier that has a lot of text, you need to rework that.
Yes.
Okay. I will accept your criticism of my criticism.
How well is this doing? I'm assuming the game is actually doing well. It looks like a game that would have a lot of support. It's just not a game
I think like 35,000 out of 15, which is not a ton. Right. But it's also is there miniatures in this? I don't think there is. I think it's standees.
No.
Oh,
and
why are we talking about
good with that.
Yeah,
I like acrylic standees.
There's acrylic standees, and I like acrylic standees. Oh no, wait.
Oh, you can.
No, you can get digital files.
Right.
Ooh, $25 for digital files.
And they print them for you?
No.
Oh, why are we talking about this?
Mm-hmm.
I like the art. I like the idea. I might actually give this a play, and I want to play this guy called O-Rage.
It's a typo. It's orange.
That's what I thought first too.
Definitely orange.
I thought, especially since it is in orange.
It's in orange.
It's like those games where they show you the word blue, but it's in red.
Yep.
And Zimmer here, I believe he composed the soundtrack for The Rock.
He did, yeah.
All right.
I'm going to play as Williams. You play as Zimmer. I'll play as Williams, and you play as Zimmer.
All right, next one. The Castles of Mad King Ludwig Collector's Edition. $1 million. So Ted Alsbach for Bezier Games did the Super Deluxe Massive Edition of Suburbia. This game is ranked higher, and so of course he's going to do the same thing here. The artwork for this new edition is way better than the original game. It looks fantastic. The colors are cool. These are completely unnecessary, these 3D buildings, but I want them. That looks cool. The scoreboard looks better. Everything looks better. The only thing I would argue against is this colossal upgrade thing.
Why?
And that's where they made all the rooms twice as big. And that's cool, but the game already takes up a good chunk of table.
More stuff, bigger. Where are the mechs?
This is meant to be played in the street, Tom. You play this one out in the street.
This is actually supposed to be used to design your actual castle.
It's to scale.
Oh, I see. Yeah,
I like
so
the graphic design of this page quite a bit. I think that royal purple and gold is a nice motif they're using throughout the whole page. It's a real clean looking, Kickstarter design. Yeah, this is cool. I agree with you, Tom. I think that the whole, go extra large for no real good reason. Whatever. They can make one of these to show off at a convention, right? But selling it just seems unnecessary. I wonder how many they are selling. I don't know if you can
that's
see
interesting. So the one that's shown here, the collector edition, this is the $100, is $791. That's a pretty good. I actually think you're getting a pretty good value for $100 there.
Yeah.
That
Royal
also adds basically metal coins, plastic tokens. So that's 129, and that has
poker chip too.
Oh, poker chips. That's 4,000 backers. That people want that one.
Of course.
Then when you add in the giant one, Colossal, it's down to 1,211. But again, that's still 1,200 people who want the giant edition. So, it's just
there's even a bigger one than that.
Wait, what?
There's a bigger one than that, Colossal Moats.
Oh, you're right.
1,400.
Technically, then, yes, 2,500 people or 2,600 want the giant version, which is about half of the people who want the big version.
Yeah, I guess people do want this stuff. I don't know.
I think I'm happy at the Royal Pledge myself. Just the one with the plastic. I like plastic and metal coins, so I would want that.
Yeah.
I just don't want the giant tiles. But other than that, I think this looks better than the Suburbia one myself.
Hopefully, I remember getting that Suburbia in here, Tom, and you have to admit that was a bit overwhelming.
It was. Yes. I'm hoping this one is less so. It looks. Right. It looks like it might be. Those trays don't look nearly as complex.
Right.
So if that's the case, I think that's pretty cool. And it's game trays. Game Trays does a good job usually. It says 6 unique game trays. I'm pretty sure that Suburbia had about 10. I might be wrong, but it was a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Either way, $1 million, and that's pretty impressive. Yeah. And still 7 days to go. I could see this one ending at $1.345 million.
Yeah.
All right, that's the games. Let's look at the non-game stuff. First,
here we go.
Humanity Tiles. This is a 3D toolkit to coach yourself through life. So it's a set of tiles where you explore the complexity of your own thoughts, emotions, and behavior. That's as simple and fun as playing with Legos. In fact, if I gave this to Jimmy, he would put these together probably the same way I would, and probably have more fun. I don't get this one.
Yeah, I think this is supposed to be it's basically a conversation starter, a self-help tool, an icebreaker. Maybe not an icebreaker. This seems to delve into some personal things, but you don't necessarily want to do this with someone you don't know well. But I think it's supposed to be a springboard to conversation. Now, I don't have a psychology degree. I don't really know anything about this. This idea that they are pushing, that making the thoughts and feelings trapped in your head physical things, and then using those as word representations on tiles to build a 3D mind map. I'm stretching here, if you would. Yeah. I don't know if that's useful, okay? I want to lean towards no. This could have been a deck of cards with words.
Sure.
You know what I mean? I'm not sure that linking them together is doing anything besides making these tiles more expensive and plastic.
Well, the project is funding. So.
It is funding. It's a cute idea. Look, I could see this being used therapeutically. Right. I could see this being, again, a conversation piece. I'm not sure if this is the best implementation of this sort of idea I've ever seen, is what I'm saying.
To me, this is a kind of a continuation of the idea of gamification of a lot of things, and sure. Gamifying your life and having a physical representation of the different connections that your brain, like you said, kind of representing in a physical fashion what your thought process is. So,
right. Alrighty. You might like game trays. You might use the plastic containers we have here on the Dice Tower. But what about titanium containers?
Oh, snap. You can
Weighs less
keep
than a key.
several M&Ms in there, fool.
Oh,
Can you get your fingers in there though, Z?
No.
No, they never once show you that.
It's a
The person
weight
always
loss.
tips it out.
It's a weight loss thing, right? You're like, I want some M&Ms. You can't get them out.
I kept looking through this, and it just cracks me up because they keep talking about this, titanium that. It's very strong. It's very light. It's like, incredibly resistant material to damage. Also, the lid is plastic. Who cares? This is made from titanium. It's got a little plastic cover on it.
That's true. I didn't even think about that. I was just thinking, why does it matter? Like your house blows up, you're like, at least the M&Ms are safe.
I mean, titanium is very resistant. It is lightweight. I think it's, titanium is used for a lot of things. It's great, but I'm not sure I would sell the fact that this is an indestructible container when it has a plastic lid with a plastic ring to attach at the top. That will break very easily, probably.
I always thought that titanium was deadly poison. So I'm good. I learned something today. Apparently, titanium won't hurt you.
No, that's uranium.
Same thing.
D&T. Thematic teas for your RPG, because if we know there's one thing that happens at the D&D table, it's the drinking of tea, but it still is raising money. Like, I'm actually interested in this.
Underdark and chill.
Underdark and chill. This.
Mm-hmm.
This is a bold move, man. I applaud this.
It's bold. It's bold, all right. It's a neat idea, actually. It's very cute.
This is a great gift. We're talking about gifts coming from Kickstarter.
Right. Yeah.
This is like made to be a gift for a D&D playing friend. Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
I mean, it's got cute little, tongue-in-cheek sayings on the packaging. Come on. This is if you're looking for a unique gift for someone who likes D&D, it's not going to get more unique than this.
Yeah. And those the drink holders are really neat looking too.
Yeah, I like these.
Those
Did you see
are really
them?
slick.
That
I
is
did not
impressive.
see. Wait, are those candles like my mom buys at the Hispanic store to light up for the saints?
It's a tea tumbler, but they're different classes there. Barbarian, Bard, Fighter, Rogue, Sorcerer, Ranger, DM. Oh, that's mine. Warlock.
Cool. It keeps them hot or cold. It's a bamboo exterior. It has a little basket to infuse the tea. It's neat. I mean, I think they're nice.
I would not mind getting one of those. I think those look good.
Yeah.
All right. The biggest non-Kickstarter I found is the Fort Magnetic Pillow Fort, which is close to $3 million, and it's going to make it because there's still 14 days to go.
That's wild.
Yeah.
This is making an insane amount of money. It's basically foam blocks that have magnets built into the lining so that they'll attach to each other. It's basically that it's foam Lego or something like that, right? I mean, that's basically what it is.
It's also very, very expensive.
Yes,
it is. It is.
The main reason despite that, I thought about getting it, but the two things that stopped me from getting it, well, three when you include price, was one, it says September, but it might not come till next year. Jimmy will be another year older by then. And two, I don't know where I would store these. They show it in a nice stacked pile. Whoever has that nice stacked pile doesn't have children.
The thing is, it's got magnets, Tom. Can't you just make it into a couch until you're ready to turn it into a fort? Have a magnetic couch.
I don't think it's going to support my weight.
Never know, Tom.
No, I do know.
I'm not an engineer by trade, but I think you should be able to make it work.
They also don't look very comfortable, Mike. They look like they're
really
made.
Don't.
They make it look like they're for the fort only. I think it's a fun idea. It's just.
Hey, look, you need to make a sofa.
I understand that, but would you want to sit on that sofa?
Yes.
No, you would not. First of all, that sofa's like a foot and a half off the floor.
Yes, at best.
If you sit there, Mike, you're never getting up.
This is
that's not right.
very, very adorable.
And this one looks like a cat hangout.
Looks like a washer and dryer almost. The thing that's also incredible about this is that if you look, it's like the creator, it's a first-time product that they're making. They're making like $3 million off of this. I mean, I know it's not profit, but that's incredible. You know,
That's pretty amazing.
This smacks to me that somebody that had this idea, right, building something forts for their kids, like, you know what? If I put magnets in here, like from that idea to now almost $3 million. It's amazing.
Isn't that wild? That's crazy, man.
Yeah, but I'm really happy about this. They talk about the magnets because everyone was, the question's like, can I put my phone on it? What about pacemakers? They basically say if you're a pacemaker, don't go near it. But for everyone else, you're probably fine.
You're probably fine. Is that what it says?
Don't put your credit cards near it.
No, does it say that? Oh yeah, don't.
Yes,
put your
it
credit
does.
Card. Yeah, but it says don't take your credit card and run it down the magnet.
Well, I mean,
then I have to be mindful of where I put my credit cards.
Now you're trying to tell me how to sit in my magnetic sofa. It
no,
seems like it's a little intrusive now.
When I walk in the door, I fling my credit cards. It's not my fault if they land on my fort.
Right.
Well, this is kind of like the success story that makes me happy. I don't know. I just like seeing it. You know, I don't know. Like I said, I decided not to get one myself, but I definitely thought about it.
Somebody is saying in the comments, the Mr. E says, this poor guy, he's biting off more than he can chew. Which, again, when your project, it's your first time, putting something out and you've made $3 million or nearly. Yeah, maybe. I hope he's got a good team behind him who's going to be able to produce this on a timely basis.
I hope so.
He has a team, though, here. He has at least 4 people on his team. He already has the factory mentioned earlier in here. And it's a good Kickstarter page.
It is.
So that's a good start, Z. But you're right. I mean, he's going to be making, I don't know how many of these he's making. 883 there, 2,000, 3,000, 8,000. It looks like he's making about 10,000 of these forts. That is not a small thing. But maybe he'll be able to find someone. If you say you got $3 million funding, he might be able to find a partner to help him produce it and everything. Sure, I would not be surprised if you see this in Brookstone at some point.
Yeah, it does have that quality, doesn't it?
Made on is Brookstone the right thing?
Yeah, Surfer Image, Brookstone,
or like a Walmart, or what's that place called with the
the
Starbucks.
All righty, Mike, what's your pick of the week? Not many games.
Pillow fort all the way, man.
Pillow fort
if you want
all day. No, I'm actually going to go with what I'm hoping is going to be good, which is Reload. I'm hopeful on this one. I will say this, none of the projects this week made me just go immediately yes. This is the one that I have the most, I think, optimism for. So we'll find out Friday, I suppose.
Well, actually, let's just stay right here then, because that's also my pick of the week for the exact same reason. I have a lot of hope that this one's good. I tend to like colossal Ameritrash style games, and that's what this one looks like. And Travis Chance, who was the person who signed us and did this, he and I tend to have a lot of the same tastes. So I'm hoping, and we'll know by Friday, but it looks good so far.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree with you guys. I mean, I'm going to pick something else, but I agree. If I had to pick a game, this would be it. I think it's looking real sharp. But I'm going to go with the bold aroma of T&D or D&T.
Yeah, it's a good choice.
I'm going to go with that. It's cute. It's well done. I think it's silly and tongue-in-cheek, but also kind of classy and understated. I'm happy with the way this looks. I mean, I don't care for D&D personally, but if I was going to get a gift for someone who is really into it, this would cross my mind for sure.
All right. Well, on the YouTube channel, I asked for the people's choice here, and there's 802 votes. What do you think got it?
Ooh, 802. I'm going to say
Overload. I'm going to say Overload.
I'm going to say Castles of Ludwig.
That is correct. By a mile, 47% of the vote.
Of course.
So, Castle of Mad King Ludwig Collector's Edition. Of course, it's also making $1 million. So, and again, it's an easy one to vote for because it is a reprint. Although so is Metro.
Sure.
They're quantities. Although this is Metro's an older game, almost 20 years old, and this one is a much newer game. But yeah, I mean, you compare these tiles to the original ones, and it makes a lot of sense.
True. They're very pretty.
Alrighty, well, thank you everybody for coming on board another Crowdsurfing. If there's a project that you say, wait, they didn't talk about it, there's a good chance we'll talk about it next week in Crowdsurfing. Meanwhile, we'll be back tomorrow morning, 10 o'clock for Board Game Breakfast. And then 2 o'clock tomorrow with Sarah Shaw for our top 10 worker placement games. Meantime, there's lots of other videos going up, so check them out. Have a fantastic hump day. We're halfway through the week, almost. Well, I guess, it depends if you work Saturdays or not. Anyway, until next time, I'm Tom Vassell.
I'm Z Garcia. Thanks, everybody.
I'm Mike DeLisio.
Have fun building the castle.